Hey, good morning, my friends. MLive Chief Meteorologist Mark Torregrossa with the MLive Morning Weather Update. You see the smile on my face? That's because I do believe the storm system is going as predicted. And I do want to emphasize, I already have a post up this morning, that in the south half of the state, in the end, we won't call it a snowstorm. I've been telling you about that for 4 days, but we are getting a burst of snow coming through now. Probably some nasty roads in places for 2, 3, 4 hours into early afternoon, and then things improve dramatically as the temperatures warmer above freezing for the southern half and the snowstorm shifts into the northern half of lower Michigan, where it'll be a solid little good old January snowstorm. Nothing historic or anything, but a 5 to 8 inch snow in the northern part of the state. So let's get on into it. And I've got some road cameras lined up for you, so if you're, just in your living room there, you can kind of see what's going on. And so here we go. So we'll start with, of course, the number one thing that everybody wants to see in weather is the current radar. And now remember, this is actual. A lot of people still, to this day, get confused by model radar forecast. That is fantasy, as I call it, into the future. It's very accurate, but it's not the real thing. This is really what's happening. So what you see is this area of snow shifting northward, and when you get the darker blues, that's a moderate snowfall that we're seeing now, heading toward Grand Rapids, has moved through the Kalamazoo area, is moving through the Jackson area, and Ann Arbor, maybe. Now the pink-ish color, salmon, if you will. Hey, good morning, John Robert Williams, the retired one of the world's best photographers ever. Good morning to you. Dennis Locks, thanks for watching. Julie Teresa, thanks for watching. And Michael Karpowitz, thanks for watching. This is the MLive Morning Weather Update. And we're going to be going through several things here. I also do want to remind you that you can Google MLive Weather Insider Text. We've started a new text service, a free 14-day trial, and this is where I can give you quick updates, not full-blown updates on the MLive site. And the notifications from Facebook and the MLive site, a little bit iffy versus as you get a text. Hey, here's an update, go to this link and read my story. So you may want to sign up for that. And let's get back into it. So the scenario is the snow shifts north and then the mix shifts north. No freezing rain with this. Snow to snow and rain to rain and then back to snow. No freezing rain. That's a good thing on this one. Current temperatures show you that it's already getting to 34 in Saginaw, 34 in Flint, 34 in Ann Arbor, 35 in Detroit, 32 in Grand Rapids, 32 in Kalamazoo. So the roads are acting differently on the west side of Southern Lower than on the east side. More wet on the east side, and with the heavier snow starting to get more snowy on the west side of the state. And here is a road camera. This is at, let me scooch her down a little bit so you can see it. This is at 131. You see they're just south of the Kalamazoo area. Let me see if I can find some others for you. This would be 131 north of Kalamazoo. That's out. I-94 between Kalamazoo and Jackson. There you see, just wet because the roads are pretty mild. I-94, let's go to at Jackson. I-94 at 69. So, and Judy just gives a good report there. Roads are very slippery right now in Jackson, and they probably could be on the side roads and the city roads, but it looks like the interstates are holding some warmth and maybe they have some salt on them. Gary Emery, do you see the rain making it to Gladwin area? Yes, I think you will turn more to rain in Gladwin eventually. So that's a great place to go with our next graphic here. This is a radar forecast. So now remember, this is a model of what will likely happen. And let me get it the right size for you here. Okay, so this is a model of this afternoon. Okay, so, hey, thanks for joining me. I'm meteorologist Mark Torregrossa, the MLive morning weather update. And noon, snow, maybe mixing with rain in Saginaw, Flint maybe to rain, Lansing the mix, Grand Rapids still maybe mostly snow. 3 this afternoon, Grand Rapids has gone to rain, approaching Muskegon with rain. Somebody asked about Gladwin, approaching Gladwin with a mix. Rain in Saginaw and Bay City and the Thumb and Flint and Detroit and Ann Arbor. So again, if you can wait until this afternoon to travel, you can probably do some pretty decent traveling on just wet roads. This is 5 o'clock. This is 6 o'clock tonight. Very important time. Defined rain snow line. Somewhere around Big Rapids, Muskegon, Clare, maybe West Branch. Okay. Freeland, Keeley-Caudy, you go to rain in the late morning or early afternoon. And we stay that way through the evening. This is 9 o'clock. And we're looking at Grand Rapids to Bay City to Oscoda going to rain. William Rodriguez, any warm-ups going in for the next few weeks? Warm-ups back to the 30s after a couple of days of cold weather. I'm going to start to focus on that after we get through the storm system. And you know, I feel comfortable when I do my job. That's what I try to do, is do my job. My job, in my mind, is to warn you ahead of time, by several days, what's going to happen so you can prepare. You can alter plans if you see fit. My job then is to update you on if things are changing and not looking as if I had talked about in the days previous, and that's not the case in this case. And then I look a little bit on big storms at what happened, but then I start already jumping to what's going on into the future, because that's really my job. You can figure out what's going on right now and what has happened. My job is to tell you what is going to go on in the future. And where I'm going with that is we're going to be starting to talk about the next storm, a cold outbreak, and I'll let you in a little bit, and this was what stuff you will get on the Weather Insider text, that I don't believe that it's a real long-lasting cold spell. I think it's maybe a 3 or 4 day cold spell. All right, back to the radar forecast. So then as we go to overnight, 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 5 a.m., the colder air oozes back in. We change back over to snow showers, and we're looking at, we're looking at maybe 1 or 2 inches of snow as it swings through. Let's go to 7. Let's go to 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. Snow basically done. Maybe a weak band of lake effect in the southwest corner, Berrien County. Somebody yesterday asked me, hey, is the Weather Insider text going to cover Berrien County? Yes, Berrien County, last I checked, is in Michigan, so we will cover Berrien County. And then we go through Wednesday, and the weather improves dramatically. If you're a driver, if you're a snow lover, it doesn't improve. Then here we go into Wednesday night and Thursday. A little weak storm system curls across the state, mostly snow, and it's probably a 1 to 3 inch snow, probably with most places 1 or 2 inches. That's not the next large storm, and I'll cover that in just a moment. So additional snowfall. Let's go through this evening. The southern half of the state, now you're going to get a burst of 1 to 2 inches of snow, probably not 3 inches. It's more just a burst that gets on the roads, causes you some slickness and problems for the next few hours. Then it goes better. Then the snowstorm shifts to northern lower Michigan, and I would call it, you know, a moderate, meaty snowstorm. If you want to get that snowmobile out, my advice is this year, you get it out when the snow is there, not when you can go in a week or two, because the snow may not be there after a week or two, perhaps. The cold air is not there to make a long-lasting winter pattern. But what we're looking at is probably a 5 to 8 inch snow in northern Michigan. You see 10 inches there at Cadillac. I think that's probably pretty heavy because of the mix that can come in and the mash down that can happen, but it's a solid, meaty 8 inches where it would be 10. Traverse City, you're probably a solid 5, more likely a 6 or 7 inches, something like that. So it's a solid snowstorm in the north. Grand Rapids, you probably wind up with 3 inches on the ground by the time it's done tomorrow, late morning. Saginaw and Bay City, you probably end up with 2 or 3 inches on the ground. And Ann Arbor and Detroit, Jackson and Lansing, maybe an inch or 2 on the ground. If we go forward and just get a peek at Thursday's snow, this model puts on another inch to 3 inches. Like I said, hey, just a little break to say hi to folks. Chuck Horvath, any snowmobiling in Alpena? LOL. Eventually, inland, probably. Hey, good morning, Jack Smoker. Thank you. I appreciate you guys, too. Nicole Belford, nothing. Nothing is happening near me. Sad face emoji. I don't know where you're at, but it will happen. As you have been expecting in the forecast, nothing has changed. All right, now let's shift gears. We know what's going to happen now, okay? We know I've done my job to inform you on current storm. Burst of snow, change to rain in the south, back to snow an inch or 2. Northern parts, snow picks up through the day, meaty, medium-sized snowstorm. No blowing and drifting, no freezing rain. We can handle that. Next system looks very similar to this one. Maybe 50 miles colder, meaning the rain-snow line shifts south. Still way out there in the Pacific, still a lot of room for it to shift north 100 miles, shift south 100 miles, but in this case, what I've always been taught and what I've done for 34 years in meteorology is I do what's called situational forecasting. Don't necessarily look at what the models exactly output. We look at what does a closed upper low, a closed surface low do as a heavy snow band. It's usually a 6 to 10 inch heavy snow band. We start there. If it slows down, if it's a little bit higher snow to liquid ratio, we might go to a foot, but I found that even in snowy Michigan, it's very hard to get a foot of snow in a snowstorm. It happens maybe every 5 to 10 years in southern lower Michigan, but this one could be a meaty, real deal snowstorm a little bit farther to the south. So having said that, let's get into it and show you the timing on the next storm system. Again, with the big asterisk that you're not getting this anywhere else. And then I'm going out on a limb, and I don't want you to take it as verbatim right now. What if, what if your kids called you up and said, hey, we're thinking about coming to visit you in Virginia. Maybe this week or next week. You'd say to your spouse or significant other, kids are coming to visit. When? Sometime in the next week. You wouldn't know until they were really pinned down. That's where we're at with the weather at this point. How does that sound as an analogy? So we're going to go to what I like to go to, and that is the upper level feature. And I want to just show you, hey, Union City, Good morning. Thank you, Mimi Noonan. I appreciate that very much. How much in Gaylord? You're probably looking at 5 to 8 inches in Gaylord, probably 6, 7, 8. Okay, so this is what a storm system like what we have right now looks like aloft. This is overnight tonight. It's a closed upper level storm system. It moves out. There's our little wrinkle in the atmosphere for Thursday, snow. And then here comes the next storm system, almost looking like a carbon copy of the last one. Hey, Carol Preston liked my analogy. Thank you very much. And we're building strong. If you could hit the share button and say, this is how I like to have my morning weather, I would appreciate it very much. I don't make any extra money if we go from 730 viewers to 7,000 viewers. But, you know, my success is pegged on how many people I get to follow me and watch me and use my weather information. It's what I do. It's a dumb job, but it's what I do. All right, so this is what it looks like Saturday. Notice another closed low, a little bit deeper than this one. And, you know, hey, I just got my first email, folks. I just got my first email. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to go on a rant here. You're going to get a good rant here. So 4 days ago, I wrote a post that said, we're going to have a storm, sort of. I don't decide whether it's a storm. I let you decide. But I know that a burst of snow, then rain, then back to an inch or two of snow is not a snowstorm in January in Michigan. So I wrote a post that nothing has changed. I just got my first email. Let me go and read it. I saw the, okay, Tony Pack, P-A-C, emails me. And all it says in the text, you probably can't see it, all it says is, wrong again. The storm is not even done. And this is what I get. So I get people, wow, you call that a job? I'd love to have that job. It's, you know, you can be wrong, whatever the saying is, you can be wrong 50% of the time and still keep your job. You couldn't. If you're wrong 50% of the time, you'd be a terrible meteorologist. We're right 95% of the time now. But then we get people that tell you you're wrong even before the whole forecast is over. So it's a thankless job, and I'll tell you what, I'm glad I'm only 5 years away from retirement, and when I retire, don't ask me what the weather is. Have someone else tell you. All right, here we go. I'll shut up now. Let's see. All right, so next storm system, upper level low, closes off and moves out. So again, this would look to me in situational forecasting over the 30 years, this would look to me like a move in, move out, solid snowstorm for somewhere in lower Michigan. It would not look like a historic blizzard. A historic blizzard stops over an area and lasts for a couple of days and turns deeper. This would be a solid one. All right, so here's the surface look. Now this is today, and this hasn't changed in 4 days. 4 days ago, the storm wasn't even in existence, really, almost. Well, it was out in the Pacific Ocean. So this is tomorrow morning. This is, you know, snowy, showery. And then here's our little, I don't really want to call it an Alberta Clipper, but it's a little storm system for Thursday. So Thursday, you know, could be a touch colder, and it could actually on an inch or two of snow, it could be a little bit worse road conditions than today. And then here is Friday night into Saturday. So look at this. This is a deep low pressure system. Again, the models will probably overdo it at this point, but it's a solid storm. Look at the storm center over Saginaw. This could shift south into north of Lake Erie, shift the snowband a little south. it could shift a little north, bring the rain back in. Something like that, again, goes from rain, Detroit, Ann Arbor, to heavy snow, Lansing, Saginaw, Grand Rapids. And here's the point here, Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon, that right there would be a different type of snow than this, what we're having. That would be a wind-driven, blow-around snow on 30 to 40 mile an hour gusts. So Saturday, I think you better plan on cold roads that would have snow on them, some drifting, and probably fairly nasty, dangerous driving conditions. That's Saturday evening. That's cold, and the snow doesn't go away off the roads very quickly. This is Sunday, and we get to a lake effect look. We haven't had that really this year all. And if you could, hit the share button. I appreciate it very much. Okay, so then we go into Monday. Still some lake effect as we'll get kind of cold. The next storm, all of the data wants to shift to the southeast. Very typical as a strong storm brings some colder air in. The next one goes around the periphery of it, and it goes to our south. And we stay kind of quiet and kind of cold next week. But I'm not sure that this cold is going to last a real long time. Here's why. Okay, so this is our storm right now. Then this is the storm for Friday into Saturday. Notice how the atmosphere, so we're cold next week. We're definitely cold. But notice as we get out 10 days, notice how the cold air just bloop, back up into Canada. And not to say that we'll be warm, but I think by the end of next week, we'll be flirting with 30 degrees and at the freezing mark once again. Doesn't show up just yet on this surface forecast from the European model, but the upper air is usually a better way to produce a forecast. Hey, good morning, Rick Ryers. Hopefully you had a great crop this year. Tim Lee Oscoda, good morning. And West Branch, Courtney Krebs, good morning. West Branch, you're just on the edge of where you could change to some rain mixed in there and mash the snow down a little bit. But West Branch, you're probably 3 or 4 inches at least by the time it's all said and done, maybe 5. So today, we're 40 in the southeast, we're 32 in Traverse City. Tomorrow, behind the storm, not really that cold. Because of the next storm system out to the west, already bending back our flow, but we're in the low 30s tomorrow. So you won't have bad roads. They'll melt off. Thursday, look at temperatures in the low to mid 30s. Friday, the freezing line through Saginaw to Grand Rapids. That's going to be very important for the rain snow line. We're going to have to deal with it all again, and I'm ready. I've done it hundreds, if not thousands of times. Thomas Smolka, you're probably going to have to wait for the mid-40s. I'm not sure that it will get that warm, but this atmosphere has the power to do that out in the future. But it'll be a week to 10 days. Cheryl Ann, how's the evening look? 6 to 9 p.m. Plymouth to eastern Ann Arbor. I would say you'll be above freezing at that point. You could be in rain showers, but I think you'll have no winter problems. So here's Saturday, then here's Sunday of next week, or this weekend coming up. High in the teens, that might be a little bit overdone, but the point is we finally get a blast of cold air that will feel cold because we're not used to it. And highs on Monday, maybe in the teens, and Tuesday, maybe in the teens. I feel like the cold air lets up quicker than what everything shows this year. It's just that El Nino and the global warming mixed. Then next Wednesday, teens. Point is, next Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, probably definitely feeling like winter. Okay? And then next Thursday, temperatures in the upper 20s. So that was, you got to admit, that was quite a weather update. Don't you think? So yeah, I rant a little bit, and I know that kind of person, Tony Pack, whoever that is, they got you wrong at everything. They walk into work that day and the spreadsheet from the accountant is wrong, and everything is wrong. The coffee is made wrong, and the lunch that arrived free was no good. So I know that 95% of you do appreciate it, and that's why I continue to do it. And I know that we are amazing. When I think back, I got to share this with you at some point when I figure out how to do it. But yesterday, someone sent me a link to one of my weather broadcasts in Traverse City, and I think it was March 15th, 1993. And my wife and I watched it on the computer. It was pretty cool. But the graphics were archaic, and I thought about the models that we had at that time and what I was talking about, what happened with the weather. And I thought to myself, like, how did I even figure that out with the archaic models that we had in the early 90s versus now? It is, I'll be honest with you, a lot easier. A lot easier because they're so accurate. And as I explained to my brother-in-law yesterday, I was talking to him on the phone, and he lives in kind of west central Michigan, and he said, boy, I don't know what the models the TV people use here, but they're always wrong. And I like to pry. I like to pry why somebody thinks we're always wrong, because I just don't buy it, you know? And I'm like, what do you mean they're always wrong? And I pried in, and I said, no, I don't think they, interpret them worse than anybody else. So, hey, there's another rant. Sorry to keep you. But thanks for joining me on the MLive Morning Weather Update. Use your common sense in this. If the roads get nasty for a couple of hours in the southern part of the state and you don't have to drive, wait until afternoon or early afternoon, and things will improve dramatically as you go to 34, 35, 36 degrees. Might take you some extra time tomorrow morning. Middle of the day tomorrow should be up to 33. Roads improve again, and then we turn our eyes to Friday, Saturday, where I'll be wrong again, right? So, hey, thanks for joining me on the MLive Morning Weather Update. Sign up for the Michigan Weather Insider Text. First 14 days, it's free. After that, I believe it's $1.99 a month. You'll be able to see what we do, and it's a perfect pattern to start it, because I think this is a perfect way to show you how we'll update you on text, bring you some value-added stuff in weather. I know that there are several weather users. Number one weather user, someone that their job depends on weather. Landscaper, snowplower, road crew, construction. This is where you say, I want to pour that concrete tomorrow, but I can't, and that delays me with this job and this job and this job. And that's where you are at $10,000 or $15,000 a loss by a bad weather forecast. So I know that. And then there's the people that are really concerned about the weather. Then there's the weather fans that are interested in it. So we know all different levels, and we'll try to cover all of that for you in the weather texts. Whew. I feel a lot better, and I don't need a Bloody Mary anymore. Thank you very much. I'm MLive Chief Meteorologist Mark Torregrossa. Have yourselves a great day, and thanks for joining me. Bye.